Here at Golden Ticket Cinemas, we realized that we have to change with the times. So we decided to go ahead and use the back of our building as a drive-in. We have over 82 spots here. We are able to deliver concessions right to your car. You can buy tickets online. You could come and never have to deal with any contact or even talk to a person. Just show your phone when you walk up. We'll be able to get you right to your spot. Nobody will approach your car. You can quarantine in your car, watch the movie, and leave without having to worry about anything. As well as you can take your family out here in your pickup, pull on back, sit in the back of your cab, and enjoy the movie. It's a beautiful weather out here for a drive-in, I think.
Why are you licking my gobstopper?
Strike that. Reverse it.
Nazi punk! Lick my plate! Drainage!
There'll be 10 minutes where it's like a Steven Soderbergh Ocean's 11 movie. It's all slick and funny and stuff. Then just the most horrific shit imaginable happens.
It's because that's what the fucking movie's about, you asshole.
This fucking guy.
The Tree of Life is freaking awesome.
I'm sure you think it is.
Painted to black.
Oh, you are fucking this up.
Neon slime.
Gangster movie douchebag. Well, forget about it. Yeah, forget about it. Cinematique, where I like, I like the sets and I like all that stuff.
What did you say?
Cinematique?
I don't know.
Jared Leto, man.
You're the worst, dude. If you ever listen to this, Jared Leto, you are the fucking worst. I'd rather watch that dude, the English dude, who looks like he's not done yet.
This movie is the opposite of getting laid.
Thank you to all our listeners who have been listening to us for over a year now. Subscribe to us on Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and any other platform that has podcasts. Visit our Patreon page, become a Patreon to get more additional content. Again, we appreciate you listening and keep watching those movies. Now, on with the show. You motherfucker. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Wall, Lee Bridges, and Garrick Lane, this is Tales from the Video Store.
What are you doing, man?
I'm running.
Stop running.
I'm running in place.
Why?
Because I gotta get it in.
Gotta get your running in?
Yeah, man, we're dipping into my running time.
Oh, Christ.
Well, I can't help that Lee sprained his knee, and he's 30 minutes late to the show.
Yeah, so you gotta get your exercise somehow, huh?
Fair enough. Welcome to Tales from the Video Store, number 79.
That doesn't sound right.
I'm just going to get more dramatic with each one of those numbers up until 100. So by 98, it'll be like 99.
Okay.
All right, how we doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Great. Anything awesome happened this week, or are we all still COVID bound and COVID ridden? Anybody back to
I've been bedroom ridden.
You're still on a weird schedule, aren't you, Lee?
Yeah.
Did you have to?
Which actually worked out, seeing I was in the sprained my knee and I was in the bed most of the week.
Yeah, wow. Well, that gave you time to watch some movies, I'm sure.
It did.
I have been working like 3 jobs and been on location, so it's been very hard for me to watch. So maybe you guys can fill in where
I've just been wishing I had a job to go to and just hanging out at the house.
Man, come join the real estate gang with me. Get on the wagon, dude. I'm telling you,
More and more, just hanging out.
Leaving the station. Well, anybody want to introduce this week's Man on a Mission, our final in this segment?
Yeah, the film this week is from 1970. It was it's called The Losers. It was originally called Nom Angels, but they changed the title right before it was released. And it basically, the story is that a CIA operative has been captured in Cambodia. And since America was at war with Vietnam, but they legally couldn't go over the border into Cambodia, the government hires a group of bikers and outfits their motorcycles with machine guns and rocket launchers and things to go illegally go into Cambodia and get this guy. And even though most of that's only like the last 20 minutes of the movie, but it's a very 1970 movie. Like as soon as I was watching it, it opens awesomely. It opens with these VC attacking these American soldiers, and it's all slow mo. And it's the way you really want to start a movie like this. Then, of course, it immediately just a truck pulls up and the bikers get out. And they're like 30 seconds after they appeared, I was like, I'm glad we did this movie, because pretty soon, if the people we've talked about in the last few weeks, the cancel culture police, find out about this movie, it'll be taken off Amazon with a quickness.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because two of the main characters wear Nazi symbolism. One of them has a swastika on his handband, and the other one wears a big Iron Cross necklace. There really aren't that many likable characters in the movie, you know. And what did you guys think?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was extreme. Well, you know me, I don't give a shit about that stuff. But, you know, in this day and age, I watched it and I'm like, ooh, God, did he really say that? Like, he used the words, quote, slant-eyed bitch. I think the N-word was used at some point. That one dude was awful. You know, it's a movie, though. It's, you know, man, I'll tell you what, I liked it. It's a great B movie. It was awesome. I liked the blood. The blood was really fake red, but it was awesome fake red. The explosions were real. You know what it felt like? It felt like if I had to modernize it, it felt like a Robert Rodriguez film that he shot on the back lot of his house in Austin.
There's no way Robert Rodriguez hasn't seen this movie 20 times.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah. There's no way. And what made me think of the movie to do on our show was about a month or so ago, some website published some interview that Tarantino had done with John Milius in the early 80s. And he basically conned his way onto the set of it might actually have been Southern Comfort. It was either Southern Comfort or 48 Hours. Tarantino lied and told him he was writing a book on John Milius, and they just let him walk on set being like 18 years old. And the interview is actually really good. But the thing that made this movie pop in my mind is this was the movie that Milius said was his big inspiration to write Apocalypse Now. Because he saw it and he was like, it was completely different than every other movie about Vietnam he'd ever seen. It was just nuts, and you know the characters were unlikable, and he wanted to write a movie like that, but just 10 times bigger.
Yeah.
And just like last week we talked about Walter Hill movies and John Milius movies, they don't make movies like this anymore. If they do, they're sort of ironically done, you know. They're fake grindhouse movies, where this was a movie that actually played in grindhouses.
This was the grindhouse movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like if you were going to explain to someone what they meant by grindhouse, this would be the perfect movie to show them. It's offensive, it's violent, it's quick.
It's ridiculous.
You know, but actually, I think the characters are actually very well written. Like William Smith's character, he's obviously the most sympathetic. He and the guy who gets blown up, the character played by Adam Rourke.
Yeah.
They're the two most sympathetic, whereas the other three members are basically just psychos. But yeah, highly enjoyable movie. It's a movie that I've wanted to watch for years and just never got around to it. You know, I would always read about it in lists on, you know, old exploitation movies and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely more dramatic than I thought it was going to be. Like the whole thing with the kid adopting, you know, basically adopting her son. Gets with the prostitute. Very, very bleak movie though.
I liked it a lot. Like 2 minutes into it, like you said, like immediately when it starts and it's just blazing guns, these GIs are getting ambushed. I was like, I wrote in my notes, I was like, does not fuck around, gets right into it. The Devil's Advocates is the name of the motorcycle club from California that these boys belong to. And like Lee touched on there, they are very racist, which, you know, and the black, I guess he's like, kind of like the lieutenant or whatever that's kind of overseeing the whole operation. Like, kind of the shit that they give each other is very, I don't know, it's pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
You know?
I think they both, like him and the William Smith character, both kind of see the insanity of everything going on around them.
Right.
That what they do really doesn't matter, you know. They
basically make this, like, murder trike where they take, like, half of a Volkswagen and put it on the back of this well, they're not riding Harleys, they're riding, like, Kawasaki's, which is a little bit weird, but anyway, and put, you know, like, these fucking crazy machine guns on it and all this, and the kind of death montage at the end when, you know, it's basically Cambodia is being invaded by members of the Chinese Red Army, and that's who they're kind of going up against in this final scene, I guess, when they're going after this, what's the guy's name, Chet Davis, the CIA guy. But man, like you guys both said, dude, it's just get her done dirty action the way I like it. And like you say, they don't do it like this anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. But you can watch this and understand why, on the other side, that films like this aren't made anymore.
Do you think back then in 1970, like someone who was, say, a more like Robert Rodriguez, right? He can appreciate this movie because he knows that just because the characters are unlikable and racist, that doesn't mean the filmmakers are.
Right.
Whereas now it's the opposite. If you make a movie like with unlikable characters, that is sort of attributed to the people who made it, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, and there's no way this movie gets like word for word this script. There's no way it would get made now, even by an independent company.
Yeah, no way. But talking about leapfrogging on your Tarantino sneaking on. In Pulp Fiction, when Fabienne, Bruce Willis's girl, is in the hotel room by herself watching TV, she's watching this movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
And that's why they were writing Yamahas and Kawasaki's. It's because it was made in the Philippines.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, there was a dictatorship, the Marcos regime, you know. And dude, if you had a little bit of money, if you were from LA and had a little bit of money, he would supply you with soldiers with vehicles to blow up. He loved people making movies there, even though most of the movies made there were about people attacking someone very much like himself. They're generally action movies about taking down a dictator, but I guess that never occurred to him because he was getting paid.
Yeah, he's like, no, this is fine.
Yeah. And there's actually a documentary called Machete Maidens Unleashed about filmmaking in the 70s in the Philippines. And there's a scene in it where they're interviewing Sid Haig, and he said he woke up, he was making some like women in prison movie. And he woke up and there was like squeaking. And he said he was like sleeping in a hut basically in the jungle. That was the actor's hotel room. And there was a rat had a kitten in his mouth. A giant rat had a kitten in his mouth carrying it out. And he said that was just shit that happened in the Philippines in the 70s. It was just, you know,
You see
you
that
were right
3
next
times
to
a week.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, but The Losers, you know, it's on Amazon Prime. It's 90 minutes long. It's, you know, the epitome of 70s grindhouse cinema. And not that it's like where we talked about, you know, Ed Wood, where it's like some people enjoy it because of how inept it is. It's actually really well done. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's, you know.
But it's not for the faint of heart. If you're easily offended, then just don't bother.
No, if you're somewhat of a sensitive disposition,
then you're not going to appreciate this.
No.
If you vote blue every 4 years, don't watch this movie.
Or do.
Watch this movie, but don't call the FPAA or tweet out some shit where your vagina is hurt because of horrible language in a movie that was done 30 years ago.
30?
Wait, 70s? I can't. How long ago?
50.
50 years. Has it been 50 years? What fucking year is
Your
it?
math is fucking terrible. It's as bad as your mustache.
Yeah.
Christ's sake.
Your math is as bad as your mustache. That's the quote. That's
it.
Well done, Doug.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, but I would encourage anybody who likes older movies to watch this movie. You know.
I was pretty shocked that you hadn't seen this.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It was great. It really was. Now, let's rate the 3. The 3 man on a mission. What was the best one? Since let's see, we hadn't seen any 3 of them, had we?
Yeah.
So I would say The Losers was first, then the Spike Lee film,
The Five
Bloods, and then
Southern Comfort.
Now, see, I would go The Losers, Southern Comfort, The Five Bloods.
I think you're right too. I think I enjoyed the Southern Comfort more than I enjoyed the Five Bloods.
I mean, I like the Five Bloods. It's just, damn, man, it's like an hour too long.
Yeah.
You know, it just didn't need all that meat to it.
Yeah.
But that's the worst thing a movie like this can do is be boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's when you're looking at your watch.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, well, that's it. Go see, go you on Amazon Prime, The Losers, and be careful because there is 3 different The Loser movies. So make sure you get the right one.
Yeah, it's the one from 1970.
Yeah, the one from 1970. All right, well, what else did you guys watch?
Lee?
Oh, well, okay. I went full Doug this week.
I love it.
And I was on Disney Plus, which I rarely ever go to. And I saw that, I guess since Disney owns Fox now, they're going to start trickling in some of the Fox material. And I noticed they had the 2015 Fantastic Four movie, which I had not seen, directed by Doug's favorite filmmaker, Josh Trank. And it's weird. It's amazingly like the thing about the Fantastic Four is they're a family. You know, is they're not like, you know, the X-Men where they're like outlaws or anything, or they're not, you know. Is they're you know a bunch of scientists who, you know, they don't seem smart. They don't seem like they like each other. They're not. There's no chemistry between the actors. It's way too dark. It's like what I call the curse of the Dark Knight, but since the Dark Knight made $1 billion, you got to make a movie gritty. If there's a comic book that doesn't need to be gritty, it's the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I'm trying to even think of who's in it. I can't remember.
That kid from that Whiplash movie, Miles Teller.
Yeah. Okay.
And Michael B. Jordan, who is a really good actor who I enjoy. I've been a fan of him since he was a kid on The Wire. He's the Human Torch, and he's boring. I don't remember who the Thing was because he's all CGI. And it's just like Dr. Doom shows up like the last 10 minutes, you know. And he has like... I was watching the movie and Dr. Doom started making people's heads explode scanner style. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Is this for children? Like, who was supposed to enjoy this? Because, you know, I mean, I like Logan. I think there is a place for superhero movies that are R-rated. But this, I mean, you could tell that's what he was going for. It's just like, he was making a movie for nobody. People who like the comic books wouldn't like this movie, and people who would like this type of movie wouldn't see a comic book movie.
Well, excuse me. I'm surprised that the studio would even allow a superhero movie that's R-rated.
I've heard that he got fired a part of the way through, and Matthew Vaughn, the director of the Kingsman movies, came on and was ghost directing. But I don't know if that's true. I think he just got so far into it that, you know, his first movie, Chronicle, was made for so little money that they had way too much faith in him.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And, yeah, that faith was misplaced.
He also
because right after this, he was supposed to direct a Boba Fett movie, which eventually became the Mandalorian. And that guy sucks. This is a terrible movie.
Yeah.
But it is not the worst comic book movie I watched this week.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. A few days ago, my stepdaughter comes in the room. She says, can me and my friend rent Birds of Prey on Prime?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, sure, go ahead. And then the next day, you get it for like 48 hours. Me and my girlfriend are like, well, let's just start it. I think we made it about an hour in before we just forgot it was on and just left the room, and it just continued playing. So I really shouldn't review it because I didn't see it all. But it makes 2015 Fantastic Four look like Lawrence of Arabia.
It's terrible. It's horrid.
Here's the thing. Every character in it is a comic book character, but they do such a terrible job of introducing them, you don't know who anyone is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many characters, but they're just thrown in there, and Margot Robbie's terrible in it. And, the Huntress, which is a cool character, she's barely in it, you know. And just like Ewan McGregor, like they just kind of like, hey, here's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all the introduction you get, you know. And so it was just ridiculously bad. And then I watched Jordan Peele's Us from a couple years ago.
Oh.
Which I had not seen.
You had not seen that, okay.
I had not.
I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this.
Piece of shit.
Listen, I love the Twilight Zone as much as anybody. I love Rod Serling. I love it, you know. But, you know, he's not that guy. Going back what we were talking about the losers, he just has it. Jordan Peele's never, like, Rod Serling, after he got out of the World War II, he made money for college by testing out ejector seats and parachutes to see if they worked for the government. Like, the person he was that got him to where he had that kind of mind who could write the Twilight Zone. Like, Jordan Peele's just not that guy, you know. And it's just, yeah.
Was there anything about it that you liked? And be honest.
No,
okay.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, there was nothing.
I mean, I thought it looked great, but outside of that, it's like, what?
The way it looks is great.
It's like, what is this, and why am I watching it? Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, I watched something I did enjoy.
Okay, good.
Me and my girlfriend watched from 1975, the original Stepford Wives.
Nice.
Which I think was the type of movie they were going for in Us. That sort of creepy, you know, suburban, like, people aren't who you think they are.
Yeah.
And so that I actually really enjoyed. And very, very well made movie. The print on Amazon doesn't look great. It looks like they pulled it off like a DVD from 1998. But other than that, it was very well done. And even though I kind of saw the ending coming because I sort of figured how it was going to end, I still really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Much like The Losers, that sort of bleak 70s filmmaking where you just get that downbeat ending where you don't get that now.
I love endings like that. I miss them.
Yeah.
You know? Miss them.
Yeah. Well, that's all I watched. What did you guys watch?
I watched a few things. I found The Predator 2018, the Shane Black was on.
Right.
It's like on HBO, and I remember watching it and not liking it. But I thought, I think this is a Men on a Mission movie. Let me restart this and see. And it doesn't compare with the original or anything like that. Like
Not even close.
No, but it's like it's not as bad as I originally had thought it was.
So it was a better second view.
It's too lighthearted. And I think in a lot of parts is probably why I hated it. But I actually kind of enjoyed it. You know, it's this group of these guys. Well, this guy sees a spaceship and he's getting transported to this like psych unit on this bus, and it's full of these guys that are crazy. They're the loonies, and the alien is at this complex and escapes, or the predator rather, and then these guys get off the bus and start tracking it. And, you know, it's kind of funny and, you know, had some pretty good violence, and it's not great, but if you've never seen it, like, I don't think you've seen this, Lee. I would say,
I haven't.
You know, if you get a chance, give it a look.
So with the second time when you had different expectations, you enjoyed it more?
Yeah, I think I had such high expectations for some reason.
It's a Shane Black Predator movie.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be, and on the rewatch, it wasn't as bad as I.
Okay.
Yeah. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was like, well, damn, man, that's not terrible. Like, you know. Second movie I watched was Free Fire from 2016 by one of Lee's favorite directors, Ben Wheatley, starring Michael Smiley and Armie Hammer and Brie Larson and Cillian Murphy and Charlton Copley's in this, and these guys are wanting to do like a gun sale. You know, there's like a group of sellers and then a group of buyers, and between those, the night before, one of the guys who's with the group of buyers was out at a bar drunk and was messing with this girl and calling her names, and a guy from the other side, it was like her cousin, came and roughed this guy up, but they had no idea that they were both going to be showing up at this same meeting the next day, and they do, and it immediately goes from like, yeah, we've got your stuff here and just give us the money here, to immediately just a shit show. And it's everything I want, really, in a movie. It's simple, it's funny, it's violent. You know, these guys, they have the accuracy of like fucking stormtroopers, but that's okay. I mean, if they were all marksmen, it would have been a much shorter movie. But I really, really enjoyed it. It's a cool fucking flick.
It's the movie I went to go see. Like my mom, it's the week my mom died. I went to go see that movie in the theater, basically just to get out of the house and get away from my relatives. And so I loved it, and I always like that'll always be like my movie, you know.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And I think it's probably Ben Wheatley's best movie as a director. As far as, I mean, I guess executive produced by Scorsese.
Yeah. It's great.
That's kind of sort of him moving from his ultra low budget movies to something, and hopefully he'll make an even bigger, better movie after this, you know.
Yeah. It's not really a Men on a Mission, but that's okay.
Right.
I don't really care. I did find another Man on a Mission movie. I feel like you might disagree with this. One of my favorite titles when I was growing up, I hadn't seen this movie in at least 20-some years, and it's now streaming on Amazon Prime. 1990s Navy SEALs.
Michael Biehn!
With Michael Biehn and Charlie Sheen and Bill Paxton.
Yes!
And Dennis Haysbert. I always loved this movie.
I haven't seen that movie in 25 years, probably.
It's fucking great. It's still great. Hell yeah, it is. It's basically these Navy SEALs kind of on a separate mission. They kind of run across this guy, but they don't take him out at the beginning of the movie. And this guy somehow gets his hands on some, like, I don't know, not nuclear weapons, but like ground-to-air missiles. And he shoots down like a passenger flight, and so they have to go in and like take this guy down. And look, man, I love it. In 1990, nobody knew what the fuck a Navy SEAL was.
No,
you know, during like the opening scene, they get back from this mission and they're riding on this bridge, and Charlie Sheen, who is just batshit crazy in this movie. I'm curious to know in pounds how much cocaine he was doing around this time, because he seems geeked out of his mind this entire movie. He's insane. But he jumps out of this Jeep, 50 feet down into this river, and I always remember that scene and just being like, man, how fucking cool is that? Now, not so much, but still.
right.
But, man, it's one of those that is not that bad. That probably gets a bad rep that I think you need to revisit.
All right, check it out.
Yeah, Navy SEALs, it's on Amazon Prime, and it's awesome. Then I found 2 movies on Netflix on the opposite spectrum of things that I love and things that I hate. And the first movie I found, and I can't believe it's on Netflix, is Orgasmo.
What? Orgasmo's on Netflix?
Trey Parker's Orgasmo is
the NC-17 cut, no less.
Is on.
Is it really?
It's the best. It's everything I love. There's no apologies. It's go fuck yourself cinema. And I love it. I just love it. It's about this Mormon who is trying to make some money and to marry his sweetheart, and he gets swindled in with this porn director to just kind of be the face of this guy called Orgasmo. And he doesn't do any of the sex shots. He just gets paid for it. And if you like South Park, it's hilarious. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I just love it. I mean, you got Chota Boy and G-Fresh and just all of it.
I don't even remember that movie. I do remember that movie, but
it had been so long that I had forgotten some stuff, and I was just like so happy when the guy would come up and fart in his hand and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Just the weird off the wall shit in this movie, I think unicorns are kick ass. Just all of it is just it's a buffet of distastefulness, and I couldn't get enough of it, man. I laughed. I just sitting on my couch watching it by myself, I laughed and had to pause it at least 6 or 8 times during it. Wow. And then also on Netflix,
good Lord,
the last thing I watched, and you want to talk about a struggle? You want to talk about a struggle to get to the end? Brother, this one was one of the hardest movies I've ever sat through and made it to the end. And I didn't even write the name of it down because it's so fucking horrific.
Oh, wow.
It is the new Will Ferrell movie that is on Netflix.
What is it, Neon?
The Eurovision movie.
Eurovision. Oh, my.
It is fucking atrocious. It's so bad, man. Like, weird is fine, but I like funny, too. And, you know, this movie I would compare to Zoolander, except Zoolander had Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson in it, who were trying to be funny. And this one just has nothing about this is funny. Nothing. It's not witty. It's just a waste of fucking time. Do not watch this movie. Do not support it. It's that fucking terrible.
Wow.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I mean, my God, it's got Rachel McAdams in it, Will Ferrell. I love Will Ferrell. I love Rachel McAdams. But my God, man. It's horrific.
Wow.
Try and watch it. See if you can make it to the end. I'll give you $1 because it's that fucking bad.
So I hear, and I'm sure you guys will, I'm sure I'll be the blunt of all the jokes, but man, I am just not a Will Ferrell fan. Now, granted, I love his Saturday Night Live stuff. When he comes out with his cowbell, his random stuff like his baseball, when he shows up at a baseball game and he does some improv, he's funny as hell.
Yeah.
I do not like his movies. I didn't like that freaking racing movie. I did not like, I hope Anchorman wasn't that funny to me. It just, go ahead. I'm just telling you. I don't know what it is, but I'm not a big Will Ferrell. Yes, there's times where I've laughed, I've fallen to the floor over him.
Right.
But his movies, they kind of feel like Adam Sandler movies to me. Maybe I just don't have a sense of humor, but I fucking hate Adam Sandler movies. It's the same shit. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I get it. But at
like
least...
Happy Gilmore is not funny.
It's pretty funny.
It is not fucking funny.
It's pretty good. You picked one of his ones that I actually like, so if you want to bring up, like, Don't Mess with the Zohan, then I'll give it to you.
Or
but
Click.
Yeah, I mean... Well,
there are some that are not good, and then there are... And like Will Ferrell has some funny ones. There's some funny...
Well, that fucking Sherlock Holmes movie he made last year was a fucking dumpster.
I would say... Anchorman, the other guys, and probably...
I like the other guys.
Step Brothers.
Step Brother, yeah. I watch those, yeah. I think those are funny. The other guys, there are little lines in the other guys that just kill me. Like when they're driving around at the end and all the assassins are shooting at him, and Steve Coogan says he talked those Chechnya guys into investing in a Chechnya version of Dora the Explorer. They lost millions.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, he does make a lot of terrible movies.
Yeah, but and there are a couple of good ones, but the balance is not like, it's not like Robin Williams and Eddie Murphy, where I can look. I mean, most of Eddie Murphy, with the exception of the end of his career, are funny. Bowfinger was great. I mean, and that was probably his last good one.
That's what I'm saying. He lost his funny bone.
Well, but then he brought it back for...
yeah.
But anyway, is that all you watched?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, I got to get two out of the way first before I get to the three masterpieces, man on a missions that I watched.
Okay.
And I mean masterpieces, all three of them.
Okay.
All right. First of all, I watched 7500.
What'd you think?
However,
yeah,
being a filmmaker, that's pretty impressive. They brought Jordan, or what's his name, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
They put him in one set, and they made a whole movie in that one set. It felt like phone booth. Everything was done.
Yeah.
In one spot, and there was some dramatic moments, and then there were some moments that they missed, and it was kind of slow in other places. It was very uneven, and I wasn't ever really like gripping my seat.
I said, it kind of got to it heightened too early, and the last 20 minutes you're like,
when he's talking to the guy, you're just like, and the phone's ringing, you're just like, dude, when are they going to shoot this guy?
Yeah.
But I will commend those guys for making a film. I'm super low budget, one set, one place, a couple of actors. It's pretty good for that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then another movie I watched, being a big hiker and working on a couple of documentaries right now. I've been trying to do some research. I watched a film called Highline. It is about 5 friends. It is about 5 friends who do the Uinta, Utah Trail, which is not a very big trail, and not many people do it. So here's the thing, guys. All you documentarian tree huggers out there like myself, there's nothing fun and nothing cool about watching a bunch of dudes hike. When I did the AT 4 years ago, I had big plans to document my whole hike. After the second day of walking, I realized there is nothing to film because all you're doing is walking.
Yeah.
This movie is all this is 5 interviews intercut with drone footage and GoPro Karma footage of people walking.
Yeah.
And occasionally some beautiful, beautiful scenery. Everybody stop making hiking movies. They are dull and boring and they suck.
Yeah, unless you're going to kill some people in the middle of it or something, just don't bother.
Unless you're going to let the fat guy get butt raped by a couple of freaking hillbillies.
You gotta have something. You gotta have a hook, right?
You gotta have Robert Redford. You gotta have Robert Redford and Nick Nolte stumbling through a freaking stream for a hiking movie to work.
Yeah.
Or Christopher Canlis dying in a bus in the middle of Alaska.
They removed that bus.
They removed that bus.
Because
people were dying.
Because stupid motherfuckers kept going there dying. Like, I couldn't believe the numbers. It was like a dozen people since he died had tried to go up there and stay, and they all died.
We're gonna go hike to where Christopher, this guy that we don't even know, some freaking hippie, went to a bus and died. We're gonna hike and go see that bus, and then you would die hiking to go see the bus.
Yeah, guess what? You didn't make it.
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
I thought that was so weird. Man.
I can't wait for the first asshole who's never rock climbed to watch Free Solo and say, I'm gonna go climb El Capitan with no ropes because Alex Honnold did it.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good fucking luck.
Anyway, so Highline, listen. Highline's great if you're a hiker.
If you're into walking.
Yeah, if you're into walking,
it's
you
a
like
must
that kind of
see.
stuff.
If you're into light jogging.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right, I'm just telling you. But it's a movie about 5 guys walking.
Yeah.
And one guy gets sick and gets off the trail. Okay, so here we go. Cue the laugh track. The first masterpiece I watched this week is the 2.5-hour Michael Cimino Heaven's Gate. It is every frame is fantastic.
Here we go.
Every acting or every actor is perfect. It's a film about in Wyoming back in 1890. When people were taking land, the sheriff was trying to keep people from coming in and taking land. And I know you guys don't like this movie, but it is a masterpiece. No, it's not The Deer Hunter, his best movie, obviously The Deer Hunter. But this was a close second, and I loved it. Chris Christopherson is the man. Christopher Walken, the man.
He's just giving you super thumbs down.
What? Okay, so why? Why is this movie not good, Lee?
It's not that it's not good. It's just that it's not,
It's a one-time watch in 1979.
It's a one-time watch. I saw it. It's, I think Cimino was a guy who had a very limited amount of stories to tell. And that's why he only made like a handful of movies.
Yeah, no,
and then became a giant weirdo and died.
Yeah,
The Deer Hunter is clearly his best movie.
The The which one?
Deer
The
Hunter.
Deer
Deer
Hunter.
Hunter.
That's clearly his best movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this one had John Hurt, Sam Watterson, Brad Dourif. I mean, it had all the guys in it. Mickey Rourke was in it. It's crazy how many actors were in this thing. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff, man. You know, it's kind of like Ella, the movie we shot. You take me out into the middle of a real life set. You build me a bunch of cabins, and you tell me to make a film. I'm gonna be, and it's gonna be Christmas all the time. And that's what he did here. He had all the money after Deer Hunter. He had all the money that he wanted. And he said, "Hey, we're going to go out in Wyoming."
It's a passion project. This is what he wanted to do.
And I love it. It's shot in anamorphic, and it just looks fantastic. Every shot.
Where'd you find that?
It is on Amazon
Some
Prime.
Oh, okay.
The next masterpiece, I'm sure I won't get any disagreeing on. Braveheart, Mel Gibson's close to first best movie that he's ever done. It's a script by Randall Wallace. It's still as good now as it was the day I watched it in the theater in Los Angeles. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Every scene.
I remember hearing from a buddy of ours back when this came out, Big John Rose.
Big John, where is that guy?
Who knows? He's probably dead. But anyway, I remember him, we were hanging out, and he was like, "Dude, have you seen this Braveheart?" And I was like, "No, man, I didn't really know much about it. It was right when it had come out." And he's like, "It's the best thing I've seen since Conan the Barbarian, like violence-wise." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Man, it's my favorite thing I've ever seen." And I was like, "Okay." And I've seen it several times, probably 5 or 6 times. And I do love it, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it's his best movie because I don't feel that way. I still am on the apocalypto.
Sure, and I buy it, but that's what I'm saying. But it's
a very well made movie. It may not be historically as accurate as some assholes want it to be, which it is never the case, really. When you try and do these period pieces, but everything about it is pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth all 3 hours. It's worth every minute of all 3 hours.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've sat down and watched it. And I'm a big Mel Gibson. I love the way the guy makes movies, dude. He might be batshit crazy, but the son of a bitch knows story structure.
Yeah.
He knows how to put a movie together.
Amen. Another batshit crazy director was my third movie, and that was Sam Peckinpah, and it's Major Dundee with Charleston Heston and Richard Harris. It's a great film about the Union officer who decides to illegally cross the border and destroy the Apache, but he's using Union troops and Confederate prisoners and civilian mercenaries and scouts. And man, it is a masterpiece. Have you ever seen this one, Lee?
Yes, I've seen everything.
He's red-faced. He's laughing so hard.
Yeah. This movie is not a masterpiece, Garrick. It's an okay movie. So you could watch you didn't watch The Wild Bunch, you didn't watch Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, The Getaway, you watched Major Dundee.
I watched Major Dundee.
It's probably might be his worst movie,
which is still a good movie,
depending upon who you ask. I mean,
maybe.
Where'd you find that?
No, let's be honest. Convoy is probably his worst movie.
One of our viewers, one of our listeners, and a buddy of mine from film school, Mike D. Silvestri, recommended it. He's like, "Man, you got to watch this one. This one's good. It's a good Civil War piece," and I loved it.
Okay.
Really?
That's fun.
Dude, that's how you used to make movies, man. You don't make movies like that anymore.
It's Peckinpah, dude. I mean, it's like I say, it's like bitching about Scorsese movies, and yeah, there's a couple of not so great ones in there, but I mean, all in all, his library is fucking almost untouchable.
No, I'm sure. That's very true.
So You just picked kind of an odd one.
Well,
Not a bad one, just an odd one.
well, that's all I watched. That's almost a week worth of viewing. 3 hours apiece on 3 of those.
Yeah, God.
Well, we haven't met. It's been 2 weeks, so I've had a little bit more time. That Braveheart I squeaked in with River over the weekend. So.
How'd he like it?
Oh, he liked it. It's long. He watched it, but he was up and down, got on his phone a couple of times. You know how it is. It's kids, man.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well, hey, we got some news. What do you guys think about this Batman TV revamp for HBO Max?
I don't know. I don't know. Apparently Michael Keaton is going to be Batman in the Flash movie.
Yeah.
There's going to be the Robert Pattinson Batman in the theater, and then they're going to do a Ben Affleck Batman on. Apparently, they're just going all in on Batman.
I mean, haven't we gone all in on Batman like many a times?
Yeah.
Will the Dark Knight ever be beat?
I like the Burton. I like the first two Burtons. And I actually watched Batman, part of Batman Returns the other day. It was on like AMC or something. I was flipping around one day.
I love Tim Burton.
And I know you do. And I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I probably watched the second half of the movie and thought, damn, man, I would love to watch the first one and then couple it with this one. But I guess because of what happened after,
basically they told him they couldn't sell Happy Meal toys with Batman Returns.
Yeah.
You know. And that's why I think his third movie is going to be Batman. I think Batman Triumphant, I think is what it was going to be called. I can't remember.
Yes.
But they actually made the suit for Michael Keaton. It was a different suit. And then it didn't work out, and they got the Joel Schumacher ones. But, the second one is just, that's Tim Burton firing on all cylinders, being as weird as he possibly can, because he's made the highest grossing movie in the world at that point.
Yeah.
You know, let me see. Your third movie is the highest grossing movie ever, and, you know, basically Warner Brothers gives you a blank check, and then without realizing that you're a giant weirdo. And then you come back with it, and they're like, oh, well, that's not what we want at all.
Yeah, you didn't follow the script.
Why does Michelle Pfeiffer eat a bird in this? Like,
nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super weird.
It is. I love it.
But dude, the Penguin in this is, that's how I want my Penguin. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be. Oh, it's
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell will be very interesting to see how he approaches this. But
now I did feel bad for Colin Farrell, where he was getting ready to start shooting his part, and he gained all that weight.
Yeah,
right. And then they're like, "Oh, by the way, the movie's on hold. Go home.
Go eat."
And he just sitting there going, "I just put on 75 fucking pounds."
Yeah,
or whatever he did. Maybe like 40 pounds, you know. But 40 pounds is a lot.
Yeah.
He had gotten pretty big, he said, and then just, oh, by the way, go home. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Colin Farrell. I think they're going for more of a crime boss angle with the Penguin in the new movie, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I like that DeVito, man. He is very creepy.
Oh, and yeah, he is, especially when he first meets Christopher Walken in like the sewer.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, very, very weird. And that black goo that always just oozes out of his mouth.
Yeah, whatever that is. Ugh.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite Batman villain?
I don't know, man.
No? You don't have a favorite?
Everybody's going to say fucking Joker.
Well, what about Matt? But the Mad
You've got a Joker tattoo on your shoulder. Like, that you got, 30 years ago?
God, yeah. Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? Like...
God, thanks for making me old.
But I'm saying, Joker, is the perfect criminal. He's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you can do anything with him because he's a broken human being that is jovial about it. But I always liked, I liked Riddler. I liked Scarecrow back in the day.
Yeah,
I liked
Two-Face was Harvey Dent. Two-Face was
Two-Face was a good one, but Penguin, is probably one of those that's more synonymous that I'm like, of course, if you're going to do something with Batman, you got to have the Penguin involved.
Right.
That was the one thing that I didn't like about Nolan's trilogy is no Penguin.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with Bane because of how it turned out, but I think it would have worked better if you'd have had, that guy just because he's an awesome character.
Yeah.
Have
you ever seen the documentary Batman and Bill?
Uh-huh.
It's about the comic book writer Bill Finger, and Bob Kane created the character Batman, but he was from a real well-off family, so after Superman came out like 38, they were basically just buying every idea. Anybody had an idea for a superhero, and Bill Kane was Bob Kane was smart enough to show up with a lawyer, and he was like, he's like, my name is on it forever. But his original drawing, he was like a circus acrobat. It's like a yellow suit with purple wings and like a mask. And Bill Finger, they were like, oh, that's, I bought the idea, but it's terrible. And so they brought in Bill Finger, the writer. He created the Batcave, the suit, the Batmobile, the Joker, the Penguin, Catwoman, and then basically was never given credit for like 60 years and then drank himself to death.
Yeah.
But like what we think of as Batman was created by him, not Bob Kane.
I gotcha.
It's a very interesting but kind of sad documentary because he probably had depression or whatever because I think he drank himself to death by like the early 70s.
Well, if you're seeing Batman everywhere and you're not getting a piece of it, that's gonna hurt.
Yep. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with the whole, I guess, expanded, because I think they're going for a multiverse in the DC universe. They're going different alternate dimensions. That's why Michael Keaton can come back and all that, So there could be, multiple characters.
Yeah.
Not just Batman.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
It's it'll be weird to see what they do with him in that Batman role.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, that's weird, but cool.
I think they're going with Michael Keaton. We're going more of a Nick Fury type character, sort of a leader.
Yeah.
Who's not active but is sort of planning things.
Yeah.
And he'll get paid an obscene amount of money, so good for him.
And I love Keaton, but you forget how small he is.
Yeah.
Like he's standing. There were a few scenes where he's face to face with Michelle Pfeiffer, and she's like fucking 5 inches taller than he is.
Yeah. And then you see, like, when Batman v Superman, Ben Affleck looks like a damn grizzly bear. He's like,
yeah. Yeah. Are you still here, Garrick?
I was getting ready to interject.
Are you adding wax to your mustache?
Yes. I'm taking notes because you assholes don't. So, hey, I did, though I forgot something, but this is more of an ad than it is one of the movies I watched because I took the kids to the Golden Ticket drive-in and we watched Jaws.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and this is a cool, this is going to be funny. I'm sure I thought it was funny. Alright, so they showed it on Ultra 4K. It's so clear, this disc, Lee, was so clear that you could actually see the first victim. What was her name? Chrissy? I guess they called her Chrissy. You could actually see her nipples underneath the water. Now, as many times as I've seen this movie on TV and on DVD and Blu-ray, It's never been as clear as I've ever seen it. This Ultra 4K picture of Jaws that I watched a couple nights ago is amazing.
Nice.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. How did the shark look in 4K?
Very fake.
Yeah.
Too fake.
But you know what I was saying, man? It's funny, and this is coming from River, and even my wife, who is a huge cynic, and my daughters who hadn't watched that movie. That movie is so good that at the end, when you really start seeing the shark and you know he's fake compared to these effects these days, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter because the movie's so good anyway, and it's just,
I would agree with that.
It's just that good that you don't even it doesn't even register that it's fake.
Yeah. A movie like that, though, man, I don't want it to look that good. I want it to look like it did when I saw it.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit grainy, and you can't really make out, you know, the how fake looking the shark is and all that, like,
yeah.
And it kind of being shadowy. I actually kind of like. I don't know if I would like such a tidy version.
Right.
See, that's what I was asking, because on the Blu-ray for American Werewolf in London, John Landis said he had to keep going there and tell the tech guys they wanted to make it like the transformation scene and all the werewolf stuff super bright. And he was like, no, it was shot very dark. He's like, and he had to tell him, like, turn down the brightness.
That's crazy.
But yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Garrett, because I took me and my girlfriend last Friday night, a week ago. It was her birthday, and I took her to the Hounds Drive-In to see Ghostbusters.
Oh yes, and you had that awesome Jurassic Park shirt on.
I did have my Jurassic Park shirt on.
This asshole has a button-down, like, Hawaiian shirt that's got the Jurassic Park logo on it.
Yeah, like he works there. You work at security at fucking Jurassic Park.
How was that? How was Ghostbusters?
Maybe I do.
How was Ghostbusters on the drive-in?
Oh, it was great. It was great.
That's exactly how you watch that movie.
Yeah.
On the drive-in or on the VHS. Yeah, I was going to add something to Jaws. It's funny because every time I watch Jaws, after the second chase and they stick the second barrel in him, and then it goes under, right, and they're looking around the boat, and then there's that wide shot of the boat, and the two barrels pop up out of the water and start bobbing around. I always remember when I watched that on TV that was a commercial, and that commercial pissed me off every time because they would fade to commercial right when those barrels went up. And it's so funny that's my mental cue. Every time that scene comes up, I remember them fading to a commercial on CBS or whatever, CBS night, Friday night at the movies, and they would go to a commercial right after that chase, and it would drive me as a kid crazy.
It's funny how the brain works.
God, we're old.
Manager's choice for this week.
Oh, wait. Do we have a manager's choice?
You know I do.
All right.
I found on Netflix, it's one of those that I had really, really wanted to see it, but sometimes they slip through the cracks if they're not immediately on something that you're streaming. You just kind of forget about it. It's 2016's Bleed for This. It's the story of Vinny Pazienza, who was a lightweight boxer that actually ended up moving up he ended up moving up 3 weight classes, which is really kind of unheard of. I think he started at like 140 and ended up at like 164. He was a 5-time champion, world champion in 3 weight classes, which nobody had done up to that point. But what makes Pazienza special, he had just won a fight against a French guy named Delay and won the title. And a couple of days after that, he was in an automobile accident, broke his neck. And 13 months later came back and fought again and won again. Miles Teller plays Pazienza. Aaron Eckhart is his trainer. I really enjoyed it, man. I really did. It's not perfect by any stretch. This guy didn't drink, didn't do any drugs, anything like that. But he had a really, really bad gambling problem. And basically, after he retired, he basically gambled like $10 million away. So I'm not really sure, where he is currently, what his situation is currently. But if you're like me, in the early to mid 80s and early 90s, boxing was my favorite thing. I was watching boxing on USA, boxing on HBO, boxing on whatever I could find it on. And Pazienza was a guy that I remember seeing fight. I probably watched him fight at least 8 times. And I saw him get beat a few times. I know he got beat by Mayweather's uncle, I think. Yeah. He lost like 10 fights. But he beat Roberto Duran twice. And some other. Now Duran was up there in age a little bit, but still, not trying to take anything away from Pazienza. And it's a pretty damn good movie, man. If you like boxing, in that late '80s kind of style. I mean, here's another guy from Providence that nobody really gave much of a chance to, and he just did what he was told and became world champion several times.
I wanted to see that movie, but like you, I completely forgot it existed.
I found it on Netflix, dude. Super randomly, so I highly, highly recommend it.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. This guy, it's about 2 hours long, right at. I think.
Yeah.
So that's the manager's choice.
Great. Well, that sums up our man on a mission. I guess it's on to B movies.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I feel like I've watched a few, but...
Oh, yeah, you have. The last couple... Your pickers has been broken the last couple of weeks, I believe.
Well...
We shall see with the B movies.
It's okay.
Okay, well, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week with our first installment of our 3-block series of B movies.
Yeah.
We don't know which B movies we're going to choose, but we'll put them up on the Facebook page.
Wash your hands, wear a mask, stay your ass at home. All the above.
All of the above. Don't watch movies where they walk up a hill.
Get back to running, asshole.
Thanks for listening to the Tales from the Video Store podcast. If you enjoy our show every week, take out a couple of minutes and write us a review. Simply go to your podcast icon, click on it, scroll in your library till you find the purple and pink neon sign, click on it, scroll down past our episodes, hit the stars, write a review. It really helps us out. It helps us deliver a new show to you each week. And again, thank you so much for listening to Tales from the Video Store podcast. For more information, go to videostoretales.com. Thanks again.